Hello everyone, this is Carl from KOBrewing. Feels like fall today, but it is not fall yet. What season could this be? Fresh hop season. We have Von Ebert's Volatile Substance. Their standard version of this won a gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival in 2021. And the Great American Beer Festival, I believe, might just be the biggest one in the nation. So quite the awards. I've had the regular one. I have not had the fresh hop version. If you're watching this, you probably already know what fresh hops are, but if you don't, hops are traditionally kilned and then used. Oftentimes they're stored in pellets or other extracts nowadays. The fresh hops, however, come in wet, or they're used within about 24 hours or so, typically the same day, and you get more of that kind of green hay, fresh cut grass, maybe some people describe it as that. Most people love it. Festivals are huge here. They're wildly popular. However, some brewers that I know and some other beer geeks aren't always so big on it. Personally, I like fresh hop beer. Would I want it all the year, all the time? No, but it's a nice change up. I kind of like some of the green characters, so it suits me just well. And, like I said, I had the original version. I have never had this fresh hop version. So coming from Von Ebert, I'm expecting something decent. They came around 2018 and took over what was formerly Fatheads here locally. And their brewer moved on. But anyhow, they do great lagers. They do great IPAs. They have two locations, so they focus. One of their locations, I believe, on the west side focuses on the hops more, like something like this. The other one focuses on various different styles of lagers and whatnot. I like them all. I'm a lush. So let's dive in here before I take up too much of your time today. So I didn't mention this. This is a West Coast IPA. It's coming in at 6.9%. I'm not sure if it's on the can. Oh boy, I can pick up some of that aroma already coming all the way from here. I believe it's 65 IBU. I don't think they're going to tell me here. I did a quick look up before. I did not read any reviews of this. And they don't list the hops, but I believe it's fresh, Simcoe, and Mosaic, which is the same in their standard version. So what am I expecting from this? The Mosaic and the Simcoe, they have some of that old school herbal pine character. They also have some of the new school berry and kind of like citrus flavors. Whether that comes through in the fresh hop, if it's more just kind of the green, kind of dank resinous, I don't know. You certainly get some of that in the regular version. And also something else about this beer is this won a gold medal, but it's kind of more of the balance thing, like something like you'd see in Russian River. When I say balance, that can mean all different things. But when I'm talking about balance here, I'm talking about this isn't the hoppiest. This isn't, the highest IBU. This isn't the most hops. They try to balance it with the malt. And the regular base flavor, definitely some of that malt shines through because they don't throw everything at it. It's just a super clean, well done. West Coast, not modern, but at the same time not ancient, where you're not seeing crazy dull, dark like crystal malt or something like that. So looking at this, it's not dark. I think most of this is probably base malt. I don't know the malt on this. They don't list it. This looks something a little bit more than like your super low C15. So I don't know if they're putting a little bit of something like Crystal 40, or maybe it's just maybe some more darker Munich or a little something else. So it's definitely something more than just base malt. I'll try to look it up and put it up in the, put up a message for you about what it is if I can find that out. Oh boy. So I'm getting huge berries off of the nose. I was kind of expecting more of just kind of a green, kind of fresh cut grass being a fresh hop beer, but I'm getting citrus too, tons of citrus. I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as to call this like super tropical, but A lot of berry, definitely something I'd expect out of Mosaic. And also, I was going to mention with Simcoe is Simcoe can be versatile. Some Simcoe you pick up at a homebrew store might just be super piney, and traditionally it was somewhat piney. But depending on the lot and where it was harvested, it can get a really strong fruit flavor before. I know I've had some beers from Treehouse, for example, where Simcoe they've used, and also their brewing processes have brought out some really good fruit flavors. So 2 complex hops here. All right, I'm ready to dig in because I'm picking up all different types of flavors coming off here, not just your typical green flavor from a fresh hop beer. All right, the nose is definitely reminiscent of what I'm tasting. A lot of flavors going on here all at once. Definitely pick up some of that berry flavor coming in. Some herbal, some dank. Definitely has a bit of a citrus finish. I believe I said it was 65 IBU. I'll have to check on that. It's every bit 65 IBU. It finishes relatively dry. This is fairly attenuated down. It's a relatively light body. It has a little bit of body, but I can tell it's relatively attenuated down, which is, you know, just right up my alley. That's also what you'd expect in a West Coast IPA. So, not too much of a head on here, which is not surprising. I wouldn't expect any flake grains or anything that would make for a big head. You know, it's if you get a big head on a West Coast IPA, that's great, but it's not really something that's necessary, or not something that you're looking for. So yeah, this is just a really solid kind of old school IPA. When I say old school, I don't mean like way back, but it's really good. And usually when they do a fresh hop, there's one addition, which is oftentimes the dry hop. It's not like they're doing boil hops and then, you know, doing like a multiple dry hops. It's typically one addition. So I'll have to see if I can find some information on this. But yeah, this is really good. I'm going to come back with some numbers. All right, it's warming up a little bit. I'm still getting a huge amount of aroma coming up from here. It's really good, just a lot of complexity. I'm kind of having a hard time kind of trying to explain everything at once. And like I said before, it's not just your simple green beer. I think you could serve this to somebody and they wouldn't necessarily know this was a fresh hop. At the same time, you're still getting some of those characteristics from it. So, numbers-wise, overall, I mean, this would suffice. This is being a really darn good IPA. I'm going up all the way to 91. Super complex. It has aroma. It's balanced out well. It has a bitterness in the finish, but it's not overwhelming. It lasts a little bit in my palate, but not very long. It doesn't just fry my palate. For the style, you know, fresh hops are really good, but oftentimes they fail just to kind of come up to what the other IPAs are from the brewer. So I'm going to go up a couple points, 93 for the style. Super good beer. I would totally recommend this. Von Ebert's a great brewery. Not sure where they distribute, but if you can find this, totally do it. It's definitely worth the money. You know, back when I first drank fresh hop beers, you used to kind of have to go to the festivals. You know, I'm talking like 15 plus, even 20 years ago. The festivals are still big, but most brewers, they'd maybe brew one or two, and a lot of brewers didn't even bother at all or weren't able to. But now you see all kinds of, you know, fresh hop beers in cans. This, you know, you used to have to actually go to the brewery during that brief window that you had and hope you found it. When I was at the store the other day, there's all kinds of fresh hop beers. And I'll certainly go back to the festival, but you don't need to. So some other tap takeovers and whatnot. So, being from the Portland area, from the Pacific Northwest, there's tons of fresh hop beers. I believe the Yakima Valley region grows something like almost 75% of the nation's hops. And then you have Idaho next door with almost 15, and then Oregon coming in at 10%. So, you know, when I said that the fresh hops have to be used within about a day, it makes it tough elsewhere. However, please let me know, the East Coasters out there. I know they're doing fresh hop beers too, and more hops are being grown back in the Midwest, all the way back east. And I don't know, you know, you can freeze them too, so, or I don't know if anyone's getting them actually flowing in or anything wild like that's going on. Please tell me, I would love to know. Oh man, great beer. Enjoying it. Enjoying nature out here. Find this if you can. Thanks for watching. This is Carl from KOBrewing with another beer review. Cheers.